Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I have a really quick one on how to make this little Gudetama Polymer clay charm. So to start off with, I took the white polymer clay, which was by the brand Fimo, and it was one of the effects ones. So it's not actually white, it's actually glitter, but it doesn't really show up on camera at all being glitter, but in person it is really glittery. But I rolled it out into a ball and just flattened the shape down. What I then did was I took some yellow and orange mixed together to make this kind of orangey tinted yellow shade, and I just rounded it into a ball and elongated it a little bit to make it into an oval, and I just kind of smudged that down on the white piece to make Gudetama's body. What I then did was just took a baby wipe and wiped off any fingerprints or little bits of dust that were on it, because my hands were pretty dirty when I first started this, so the baby wipes were definitely needed in this tutorial. So what I then did was took some of the same colour, yellowy orangey, and I just rolled that out into a little snake and cut off little pieces, which I rolled into balls and then kind of rolled them into kind of cylinder shapes with my finger and thumb. I then focused on the two back ones to begin with to make Gudetama's legs, and I just popped them on the back so that it looked like they were kind of pointing backwards. With my knife, I then just blended this out into the body, and I did that on both sides of the shape. What I also did was I took the knife and just kind of made an indent into Gudetama's butt to make the little butt crease, and I also then just used the edge of the blade to kind of blend that out and smooth it out a little bit. I also used a baby wipe at this step as well, just to add a little bit more moisture in to blend those two pieces together. Once happy with the legs, I basically did the exact same thing over again with the two arms at the front of the body, and I blended them in with the knife and a baby wipe again also. So next I wanted to make some streaky bacon, and in order to do this I took a small ball of rose quartz Fimo, that was one of the effects ones again, and some of this brownie colour that I have mixed up from a previous project, and I just cut them into little balls and rolled them into snakes. I then popped all 5 of the snakes together and just rolled them into one bigger one, and then using my finger I just kind of flattened that down to make kind of a strip of streaky bacon. I think I actually flattened it a few times because like the streaks kind of all went to one colour on a couple of times, so this did get me like a couple of times to get right, but once I'd flattened it a few times I noticed that it kind of looked more bacony. I then cut this down to size, just using the Gudetama body as reference, and I just kind of used my fingers to like soften those edges a little bit so that they weren't so like bluntly cut. What I then did was peeled this off and popped this over Gudetama's body like a little blanket, and then what I did was I baked it in the oven for about 25 minutes at 110 degrees Celsius. Just a note also, before I did put it in the oven I did use a baby wipe on it to remove any excess dust. I also inserted an eye pin before baking, as obviously I wanted it to be a charm. You don't have to do this if you want it to be like a mini figurine or something, but I always insert eye pins so that I'm able to like put attachments onto it later and then clip it onto a bag or something. Once Gudetama was fully baked, I let it cool for about 5 to 10 minutes and just to make sure that it really set and gone nice and hard, and as you can see the bacon bit had kind of darkened up with that rose quartz colour, going a bit kind of like almost like streaky bacon, so I feel like that worked really well. Anyway, what I then did was I took some UV resin and just popped it over Gudetama's like front end of his body, and this was just so that I could cure it, and then when I went to paint the face on, if I made any mistakes I could then just wipe it off with a baby wipe. This is a good tip if you're not very good at drawing faces on. Sometimes I really mess up, so doing this step allows me just to wipe it off really easy and start again. So going in with some black acrylic paint and a little pin, I just went ahead and painted on Gudetama's mouth. I did this really thickly, even though it's quite small, I did it quite thick, like not, I can't describe it, but basically I wanted to make it thicker so that I could put the white inside rather than doing like the white with a black outline round because I knew I wouldn't be able to do that very neatly. So I just did a really thick mouth, much thicker than what I wanted, so that I could put the white on top of it. I hope that makes sense. But as you can see here, I'm then putting the white on top after the black had dried, and it looks like the black outline is actually around the white piece of the mouth. Anyway, once I painted on the eyes also, I then let this dry, and I then went in head with a like big dollop of UV resin, and I just popped this on the face and spread it out and set that with my UV torch, and then I went ahead and just glazed the whole entire thing with the UV resin also. A lot of people do ask me what type of glazes to use. I used to use the Fimo like normal glaze that you buy along with the like clay, but recently I've just been using UV resin for a more high gloss finish, and I definitely prefer that, so would definitely recommend. So anyway, once the charm was fully glazed, it ended up coming out like this. The base of it is so glittery. I will upload a picture onto my Instagram so that you can see it a little bit better, but my camera just doesn't want to pick up the glitter, which is kind of a shame because it looks so pretty in real life. I'm really happy with how the bacon turned out, and its little butt is just so cute. I love it so much. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up as it helps me out a lot. And yeah, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye!